I turn around and head back to the inn. Leanna waits for me at one of the tables. A bright smile blooms across her face as soon as she sees me.
Hey!
I can't help but grin back. Ready to go? She nods. We make our way out of the inn and into the town. Night has fallen. Golden lights shimmer in the trees. Colorful flowers decorate the stalls. Leanna's face warms into a smile. The golden lights flicker across her white armor and dance in her hair.
It's so beautiful!
It is a pretty picture. No decorations can compare to your beauty. Yeah, decorations are great. It's fine. You know what? Yeah, let's be cheesy here. I grin and reach out and grab her hand. Not as beautiful as you. Leanna's face burns peony pink? It's that word again! I don't know that word! She giggles. You know what? Let's take the time. Let's Google that word really quickly so that we can learn something today. In the meantime, just to talk a little bit more about this episode so far. I mean, I guess there's not too much I want to say. You know, I don't want to... Is there too much to say about this part, actually? I don't know. I think that the pizza scene was interesting. I mean, I think it was funny. Again, some of the times they give certain characters, like, faces, that signifies a certain amount of importance, and I have to question it some of the times, because, like, they didn't give Vare a picture, did they? I don't think they did, but again, they gave the dude... My phone's being real slow. They gave the dude at the Illusions of the Mind exhibit a picture. They gave the dude who was selling the manga a picture. You know, they gave Alberto a picture. And so it's like, how does Pixel Fate determine who gets a picture and who doesn't? Because I did think at first it was a matter of, like, importance, but it really doesn't seem that way. Like, I wonder, are these, like, is it a Patreon thing? Where you get a picture, like, based vaguely on you if you know, reach a high enough tier? I don't know. But anyway. Peony. It's pronounced peony. It's a noun. And so it's a herbaceous or shrubby plant, I assume it's herbaceous is how you say that word, or shrubby plant of north temperate regions, which has long been cultivated for its showy flowers. So I assume it's just a pink flower thing. Checking on images really quickly, we find that it is indeed, yeah, okay. Flowers in varying ranges of pink. Some of them are like really like hot pink, and others are like very faint pink. So a peony pink is kinda, I don't know, still kind of vague actually, just because the flowers themselves seem to range. But either way, now we know.
That was very cheesy.
I know. She reaches up and pecks me on the cheek.
But I still appreciate it. Oh wow, is that a mage knight?
It is! Huh? I turn at the voice. Two men gawk openly at Leanna. She shifts a little under their gaze. Her hand instinctively goes to cover her gauntlet.
I think so. What's one doing all the way out here?
I don't know. I've never seen one before.
They give her curious glances. It's clear they're impressed. Leanna's cheeks tinge pink, but other than that, she doesn't really react. This place seems even busier than it was this morning. We pass a few people chattering and laughing in front of a vendor selling rare fabrics and sparkling jewelry. The aroma of spices and delicious foods waft in the air, making my mouth water. Leanna jumps out of the way of two children, running and squealing past us in the street. Something bright yellow flashes behind them. I do a double take and realize they're running with kites, glowing lanterns bright. What? With kites, glowing lantern bright. Oh, glowing lantern bright, okay. And shaped like the sun. How are their kites glowing?
It must be some kind of paint they use. Did you see their face paintings? They're glowing too.
I did not notice that, no. Looking around now, I do see some children giggling in the streets with glowing face paint on their cheeks. An even bigger crowd is forming in the center of the town square.
Hello, hello, happy couples!
It's a game host! We're doing it! I blink. Happy couples? What's that about?
I'm not sure.
Curious, we make our way over. I can see a man standing in the center of the square. He stands on top of a small stool, so he can see over the masses of people. He beams and waves his arms, trying to get everyone's attention.
Come on, come all! Step right up and enter our couples competition. The lucky winners get an exclusive seat to see the fireworks. The best spot in all of Mija.
Mija. Leanna perks up.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun! We should try it!
Her blue eyes sparkle with excitement as she grabs my hand. And on the competition? Yeah, let's do it. Heck yeah. A huge grin splits my face. Leanna loves a good competition, and so do I. Okay, let's do it. Leanna matches my grin.
Great! We totally have this in the bag!
Even though we have no idea what the competition's about. Of course we do. A few other couples join us at the game stand. There's an older couple. Judging by their expensive clothing and glittering jewels, they seem pretty loaded. Another couple, who looks to be around our age, joins us. We wait a bit longer before a middle-aged couple decides to join in along with a few other competitors. When it seems like we have a steady crowd, the Game Master beams.
Excellent! We have a good number of couples to get started.
Game Master just makes me think of D&D. As he's talking, a girl comes around and gives each couple 2 canvases propped up on an easel and some paint. Oh, where is this going?
The first part of our competition. You have to draw your partner. You'll get points depending on your paintings.
Oh, good. Leanna flushes.
Oh no, I'm terrible at art.
Don't worry, I've memorized all of your assets. I'm terrible as well. I'm good at drawing. How was I in the... I was about to say how was I in Ace Academy, but this is a different character. How do I want him to be? Nah, he's already too attractive. He can't be attractive and good at drawing. A wave of anxiety washes through me. Ugh, same. Sorry in advance if my drawing of you looks a bit funny. Leanna shares my laugh.
Don't be silly. The important part is that we have fun.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Each couple will only have 10 minutes to complete their paintings.
What? 10 minutes?
On your marks, get set, go!
Attempt to draw Leanna sexy. Do your best to draw her normally. Stick figures are fine. Do her best. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best. I look at Leanna for reference. My nerves make my hands shake. I decide to start with her hair first. I dip my paintbrush into the yellow paint and begin. Oh no. This is already looking terrible. I tried to include her wind magic, but it just made it look like her hair is sticking up all over the place. The Game Master blows a whistle.
And time!
I let out a deep breath and look over at Leanna. Some blue and brown paint smears her fingers. She even got a little on her cheek.
Okay, show your masterpiece to your partner.
Leanna and I flip our easels over at the same time. Leanna bursts out laughing.
Oh my gosh. Now I don't feel as bad.
What are you talking about? This is clearly a beautiful portrait. She giggles. I glance at Leanna's portrait of me. It isn't an amazing painting, but she managed to recreate my armor and scarf. I'm not sure what that blue blob is supposed to be, though. Oh, that's obvious. It's Pongo. What would a blue blob, like what else could that be? Leanna looks at me hopefully.
What do you think?
Ask what the blob is. It's Pongo. Well, you're right. You can't draw at all. My girlfriend is the best artist around. This is the most amazing piece of artwork I've ever seen. Leanna flushes but smiles.
You're exaggerating, but thank you.
Yeah, after you tore down my work, I built yours up. This is no exaggeration. Everyone should see your art. I gestured to her painting. Everyone, come see my beautiful girlfriend's amazing painting. A few of the other couples blink and look in our direction. They glance at her painting curiously. Leanna's face burns crimson. She steps out in front of her painting to block their view.
That's okay. Nothing to see here.
The couples next to us don't seem to be enjoying themselves as much as Leanna and I are, especially the rich couple.
What is this supposed to be?
The woman huffs.
I was trying my best. Let me see yours.
Poor woman. He shows her his painting as she gasps.
Oh my gosh. How could you make me look so ugly?
What do you mean? This is perfection.
My nose is all wrong. I can't believe you.
It's just the worst night. Dang. The Game Master chuckles nervously.
Okay, let's settle down, everyone.
Even he seems a little uncomfortable with the way things are getting heated between some of the couples. He waits for the crowd to settle down and then smiles.
Now it's time for our next competition. A dance!
We practiced this before! I can totally do that. Hey, we can do that! Leanna taught me how to dance the first time we went to Illumia. She chuckles.
Do you remember the steps I taught you?
Yeah? Yeah? Okay, maybe it had been a while, but I remember the basics. Left foot right, right foot back, ball change? Leanna giggles.
Left foot. Left.
No, the way that you said it changed the meaning. It's left foot left, not left foot left. Like, you don't emphasize that it's a left foot, you emphasize that the left foot goes left. Oh, right. That is totally what I meant to say. Leanna laughs again.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised I remember that much, though. All of the couples get into position. Some musicians are setting up their instruments off to the side. I take Leanna's hands in mine. She flashes me a warm smile.
Ready, set, begin!
No minigame this time? Let's see. The band strikes up a merry tune and everyone dives into the dance. The Game Master weaves in and out of the couples, smiling and glancing at their footwork. The rich couple seem to be doing very well. They waltz and glide across the town square with suburb posture and grace. Oh, it is suburb. Okay, I was like, superb, that's wrong in so many ways. Suburb, posture, and grace. They must dance like this a lot. Even Leanna seems impressed.
Wow, they look great.
I nod, but otherwise don't comment. I don't want to lose my concentration, but I can hear the woman talking to her partner. Her mouth, stretched into a plastic, sparkling smile, lifts her eyebrows. She speaks through her teeth.
Darling.
I am smiling.
Well then, stop looking down at your feet.
It takes me a few tries, but soon my body seems to remember the steps Leanna taught me so long ago. We raise up our hands at the right time and move in sync with each other. By the time the dance is done, our faces are flushed and my cheeks ache from grinning.
And that's all the time we have for the dance, folks.
You stepped on my feet at least 10 times.
His girlfriend scowls.
It's the man's job to lead. You obviously don't know the steps.
Leanna shivers.
Some people seem to be taking this a bit too seriously. It should be about having fun.
Agreed. I agree. The Game Master lifts his hands.
Okay, settle down, folks. That was a good time, wasn't it?
The rich couple chuckles.
We did great, didn't we, sweetie?
But of course we did. No one stands in our way of winning after that.
You guys are missing the point of this competition. The tips of my ears grow hot, but I don't say anything. These other couples are really intense.
We only have one competition left.
He walks over to the center of the stage and flashes the crowd a sparkling smile. He gestures to the band with a flourish.
Karaoke!
Perfect. Oh no, I can't sing. I hope the sound is ready to get blown away by my amazing voice. I hate singing. I'm alright at singing. It can't be all that bad. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, karaoke sounds like so much fun.
Leanna beams. Oh, really? I'm not the greatest at it, but it should be fun. She nods, excitement shimmering off of her in waves.
Yeah, it'll be a great time.
Okay, cool. Her enthusiasm is contagious, and I find myself grinning back. Totally.
You will each go one by one. You won't be singing together as a couple, but separately.
No, what?
Who wants to go first?
Why wouldn't we be singing as a couple? We watch a few couples go ahead of us. Some of them do pretty well. They have good voices, but like before, they're way too harsh on each other.
I can't believe you messed up the lyrics.
Her husband flushes.
I didn't mean to. You know I get nervous in front of people.
People? Another couple ends up arguing as well.
What are you talking about? I did amazing.
No, your voice became too quiet at the end.
Quiet. You were the one mumbling. No one could even understand what you were singing.
This is awkward. It just shows how good a couple Leanna and I are. I cringe and shuffle away from them. I'm glad Leanna and I can just relax and have a good time. That's why we're gonna win. Even if one of us doesn't do extremely well, at least we can laugh and keep encouraging each other. Another girl goes next, the one around Leanna's age. As soon as the music starts, she lets out a loud, reedy note. Her voice grates into a screech. I recoil, pressing my hands hard over my own ears. But the girl seems oblivious to her lack of talent. She only sings louder and higher, making the crowd shrink back. I flinch when she hits the bridge of the song. She sounds like a banshee. When it's finally over, the whole crowd seems to let out a breath of relief. That was unpleasant.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Alright, I appreciate you, sir. He claps loudly, but he seems to be the only one. When she comes back to meet him in the crowd, she pouts and crosses her arms.
You did amazing.
Are you serious? No one even clapped.
Who cares about them?
This is all your fault. I told you I didn't want to sing that song.
Oh, now it's sad.
Okay, you two are the last ones.
But I appreciate him, for sure. I whirl around to see the Game Master smiling at us. He points to me.
You first.
Good, great, I nod. Cool, sure. He leads me out into the crowd and shoves a microphone in my hand.
Good luck.
He walks off, leaving me there. Nerves flutter in my gut. I don't know any songs from Isaria, by the way. I search the crowd until I see Leanna's familiar face. She grins and gives me a thumbs up.
You got this.
That's right, I do got this. The band strikes up the familiar song. Wait, what familiar song? I thought From the sounds of it, each song like we were getting to pick. I take a deep breath and belt out the lyrics. The crowd doesn't react very much to my singing. A few people watch out of politeness, while others continue on with their conversations. Leanna's the only one who seems completely focused and cheering me on. By the time I'm done, there are a few scattered claps. Leanna gives me a hug as soon as I return.
You did great. Thanks for being such a good sport.
Thank you for supporting me. She stands on her tiptoes and pecks me on the cheek. A grin blooms across my face.
All right, miss, it's your turn now.
Oh, okay.
Leanna's cheeks are rosy as she fidgets with her skirt. Don't worry, you'll be great. Slowly, she pulls away from me and nods. As she accepts the microphone, Leanna smiles, then bites her lip. I know just what will help her get over those nerves. You got this, Leanna! I let out a loud cheer and clap. Go get 'em! Her gaze meets mine and her smile brightens. She nods slightly and stands a little straighter.
Ready, set, go!
The band strikes up the same song. Leanna sucks in a deep breath. As the tempo changes, Leanna sings.
Among a million stars, a wish out there
Oh, it's the
is
intro.
ours. Maybe this time it'll come true.
Did I sing the same song then? For those of you who don't know, because I've never recorded, like, starting up the game, but, like, before you reach the main menu, this song plays, and it has, like, intro animations and stuff like that. If you're interested, I assume Pixel Fade has a YouTube channel where they would post things like that. Maybe not, but I would think for the sake of advertising that they would. But either way, I'm sure you could find the intro on YouTube somewhere.
Whatever comes our way, we'll face it unafraid and take this world on together.
Her voice rings steady across the crowd. The audience is completely captivated as all eyes focus on her. What? I didn't know she could sing! Where was she hiding this talent? By the time it's over, Leanna's cheeks are bright pink. The crowd erupts into applause. Leanna blushes even deeper as she heads back to me. Mage Knight and professional singer all in one, that was great. Yeah. You're incredible! Leanna blushes.
You really think so?
Yes! You should start recording songs and posting them up on the interwebs. She blinks.
Enter what?
She blinks, then laughs.
I have no idea what you're even talking about, but thank you.
The other couples whisper, glancing at Leanna. I can tell they're starting to look a bit nervous after her amazing performance. I beam with pride and circle an arm around Leanna's waist, pulling her closer. She leans into me with a smile and I give her a gentle kiss on the forehead. Who do you think won? They said there would only be 3 competitions, right? Leanna nods.
Yeah,
But we know the main one was about how the couples interacted with each other. And the little competitions were just to give us, you know, a bit of stimuli, right? Like, that's what it was. She beams at me.
spending this time with you is better than any prize, though.
Aw, Leanna. That was cheesy.
You must be rubbing off on me.
We both laugh. The Game Master clears his throat.
Thank you everyone for participating. You all put on a smashing show. We tallied up the points and decided on our winners. That lovely couple in the back.
He points to Leanna and I. Oh my gosh! Hug Leanna. Huh? We actually won? Hug Leanna. Yeah! All right! I scoop Leanna into my arms and spin her around. Her blonde hair blurs and whirls, her laughing wrapping around me.
We did it!
When I set her down, I'm a little dizzy. She grabs onto my arm to keep from wobbling. The other competitors groan in disappointment.
Seriously?
Come on!
How do they have the most points? They didn't even do well in most of the challenges.
Here we go. The Game Master rubs his chin, ready to impart some intense words of wisdom.
The games were just that. Games. The real winners are the couples who laughed and enjoyed each other's company every step of the way.
That's right. The crowd erupts into another cheer.
Enjoy the fireworks, you two.
Thank you, game host. Thanks. He nods. The other couple start arguing all over again.
No, you're the reason.
No, you're the reason.
I resist cringing. Let's get out of here. They didn't learn a
Yeah,
thing,
I
did
agree.
they?
The fireworks are going to be starting soon anyways.
Don't look at me like that. We weave in and out of the crowd, trying to get away from the catty couples as quickly as we can. Yep. We navigate our way through the town and then start trekking our way up a large mountainside. It's darker out here without the lights of the town. Only a few crystal lamps guide our path. We arrive at a nice and secluded spot. There's a sign reserving our spot. We sit down and take in the view. Leanna tucks her knees into her chest, beaming.
Oh, this is perfect!
Yes, perfect and finally alone, it really is. Yeah. I smile and wrap an arm around her. Anywhere with you is perfect. A blush dusts her cheeks. Her eyes dart away. There's a loud hiss, followed by an explosion. Leanna sits up.
Oh, they're starting!
I turn my attention to the fireworks. Magentas and golds boom across the midnight sky, followed by a burst of turquoise. Wow. They feel so close. These really are the best seats. Leanna's so excited that she bursts into giggles.
They're so incredible!
She snuggles close into my side. Warmth tinges my face. I can smell the floral scent of her hair as she leans her head against my shoulder. For a moment, we just sit there in silence. We watch the fireworks go off, one by one, savoring the feel of her body pressed against mine. Now, not to ruin the moment, but just a thought that I've had for a little bit now, and that I just want to share. Wouldn't it have been such a twist, though, if, like, we get up here, we enjoy the fireworks show, and then, like, something happens to us? Like, whether there's a kidnapping attempt or an ambush, you know, just something? Because there was already the twist that I assume, like, most people saw coming of the actual, like, couples competition being about how the couples interacted, right? Like, that was obvious. And so when the game host announced that, at least for me, it was like, well, yeah, you know? Like, I called that a million miles away. But for them to then, if they had like a double twist, where once we get up here, it's like they finally got us away from the city and our companions and any witnesses, and then something happened, that would be an interesting twist. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it would have been an interesting twist. For a moment, we just sit there in silence. We watch the fireworks go off one by one, savoring the feel of her body pressed against mine. Another golden one goes off and explodes into the shape of a giant sun. Leanna wiggles out from underneath my arm to look at me.
Thank you again for doing the competition with me.
Her eyes glimmer with warmth. A crimson glow flickers across her skin in the wake of another firework. I smile, tracing idle circles on her shoulder. Of course. She leans forward and kisses me. The fireworks seem to burn brighter in response. Her hand clasps my cheek, deepening the kiss until I'm breathless. A sapphire firework bursts across the sky. The tail ends branch out and sizzle like willow tree branches, cascading over us like a fisher's net. Leanna smiles and rests her head on my shoulder again. She turns her attention back to the sky.
It really is beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice to see some fireworks. It's been a while since I last saw them.
Oh? When was that?
I'm not sure. Probably some holiday back home.
Oh, I see.
Leanna doesn't say anything else. She's staring at the fireworks, but her gaze is glassy. It's like her mind is floating somewhere else. I wanted to make sure it was glassy and not glossy. A frown tugs at my mouth. Leanna? I touch her arm. She flinches. Are you okay?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Of course.
What's wrong? Her face flushes.
Well,
I keep trying. With a drink, everything requires a click, like in such short succession. She fidgets.
it's just crazy. It seems like yesterday you literally bumped into me in Meadow Hill. But since then, we've traveled to all these temples, and you've gotten so much stronger. I remember when you couldn't even cast wind magic on your own. And now look at you.
I know, I have grown a lot. That's because I have such a great teacher. She flushes, finally smiling.
Yeah. It just seems like time goes by so fast.
Leanna pauses. Her smile slowly fades. She bites her lip.
But
I raise an eyebrow. But? Her brows furrow.
what about your home?
I blink. Home? She nods.
Don't you miss it?
Well, yeah. Sometimes, of course I do.
We've been traveling together for you to someday find a way to go back. And now you're so close to being able to do that.
A few more fireworks go off in the distance, but I'm not even watching them anymore. The cogs are turning in my head, mulling over Leanna's words. True, but I'm just not thinking about it. Yeah, you're right. I don't really think we're close. True, but I'm just not... Yeah. I shrug. Yeah, I guess we are getting closer to the overall goal, but... I shake my head. I don't know. I haven't spent much time thinking about it because we have so many other things we need to focus on. Going home just doesn't seem that important right now. Especially not if I can't be with you. Leanna frowns.
Yeah, but even if you're not thinking about it, time is still passing by. It's still going to happen one day.
We don't know that. I blink. What do you mean? Leanna fidgets with her manipulator. Her throat bobs as she seems to struggle to find the words to say.
It just seems like all of this is... I don't know. One day you're going to go back home, and I'm going to be...
No, I'm not. We've already talked about this. I'm not going back home. I watch as the realization hits her. All at once, the light seems to go out behind her eyes. She lets loose a long breath as if she's just been punched in the gut. Oh no.
Here.
The fireworks thunder and crack. The sound booms and rattles my ribcage. Crimson light flashes across her face. I freeze. Leanna? She looks up at me. Tears fill her eyes. And in that instant, I knew what was going to happen. There was a peculiar, heavy sense of dread. When Leanna speaks, her voice is soft and broken.
You deserve to be with your family and friends, and it would be selfish of me to force you to leave them behind.
Oh, I don't want to be broken up with. Her face twists in pain. She's barely able to choke out her words.
I think we're better off as friends.
I'm stunned as her words slap me in the face. I mean, I know it's not a joke, and I disagree with her, so I've gotta do the last one. But I also don't wanna make her feel bad necessarily, so I'm saving. I'm gonna allow myself to save Scum in this case, maybe. We'll see. But I think this is the most realistic reaction that I have. What? Shock ripples through me. What are you... I can't seem to think straight. My palms have gone clammy. Are you breaking up with me? Leanna doesn't speak, but she doesn't need to. The tears that had welled up in her eyes begin to spill over.
We both know what's going to happen eventually.
She speaks the truth. I know it too. This was always something that was looming in the back of my mind. No, remember what Gingelan said?
I have strong feelings for you, and the more time we spend together like this, the more painful it's going to be when it finally does happen.
We just won the couples competition and then we break up.
I just can't do this anymore.
It feels like the earth has just been ripped out from underneath my feet. I want to grasp Leanna to keep myself from spinning out of my own body, to be able to say or do something to change fate, but it feels like grasping at clouds. No matter how hard I try to hold on, I know there's nothing I can do to keep it from dissolving. Leanna is speaking, but another firework resounds and echoes overhead, blocking out her voice. My ears are fuzzy, like I'm underwater. Her voice is wet and thick. She hastily wipes the tears streaming down her face. We don't have to think about all that. I want to stay here with you. Yeah. I mean, this is gonna make her feel worse, but I feel like she should know my intentions, you know? I don't care about going back home. I want to stay here with you. Leanna shakes her head.
That's not fair. How can we possibly live like that knowing that I'm the reason you never saw your family or friends ever again? It might not be today, or tomorrow, or even years from now, but the day when that decision hits you.
Leanna's voice is pained.
And for me to have to be the person that did that to you, that's too much.
But I'm telling you, it's my decision to make. That responsibility doesn't have to fall on you. I want to be by your side. I want to be here with you.
Please, just stop.
I knew it would make her feel bad. Leanna turns away from me. The tears flow freely down her cheeks and stain her clothes. The more I speak, the harder she cries. My heart breaks all over again. I want to hold her in my arms and tell her everything will be okay.
I'm sorry, but we just...
She seems to be at a loss for words. Tears prick my eyes, and Leanna's face wavers. I let out an odd choking sound, quickly wiping my face. Nothing I say now will change the outcome. Although my heart is shattered, I have to respect her decision. I understand. It's hard to speak, to breathe. And at that moment, with the fireworks bursting and the night shrinking around us, I know there is no alternative. Leanna is right. We would have been forced to end things one way or another. But that doesn't make this any easier. Leanna's face crumples.
I care about you so much.
I care about you too. My heart seems to crack at the weight of the truth behind those words. Tears run down my cheeks, making the lump worse in my throat. Suddenly, she lunges forward and throws her arms around me. The breath is knocked from my lungs. Her grip is as tight as a vice. Okay, again, not to take away from the situation, but in Coyote After Story, vice was being spelled V-I-S-E. And I questioned that, because I thought it was V-I-C-E. V-I-C-E is the British spelling. So it's interesting that they're not being consistent with that.
I'm sorry.
Her tears continue to flow, and her voice comes out all wrong and squeaky.
I'm so sorry.
It feels like there's a hook snagging at the bottom of my heart, yanking it straight down. I want to tell her that it's all okay, that we'll be fine, but I know it's a lie. Any words I'm about to say dry in my throat. No matter what I do, I can't put us back together. Leanna and I end up walking back to the inn together. I want to reach out and hold her hand one last time, but I know that doing so would only hurt both of us even more. The journey is silent and awkward. I can feel the heavy tension hanging between us like a curtain. We make it to the inn and up the stairs. Each of our steps seem to thump louder than usual. Leanna stops at her door. She turns to look at me.
Well, good night.
Good night. Her eyes are pink and puffy.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. Leanna takes a step closer, like she's going to touch me or say something, but she stops herself. Her face crumples. Instead, she spins around and enters her room, closing the door behind her. I'm left standing in the hallway with a strange emptiness. I know I can't change her mind, and deep down, whether I want to admit it or not, she is right. This is just as hard for her as it is for me. A few tears finally manage to trickle down my cheeks. I sniffle and shove them away. Now, I don't know if there's going to be anything else happening in the scene that's relevant to this, but I do want to pause and say again, because I've already mentioned Gingelin. Yeah, I mean, like, Gingelin even said, like, that depends on what you mean by home, and, like, would your family and friends really, want you to make a potentially life-threatening choice, just to go back to them, that kind of thing, and the fact that this is all, like, a choice game, and the fact that I, like, explicitly told her my choice, I understand Leanna feeling worse about it. The things that I don't understand too much are all the descriptive text, everything coming from the main character that's like, I know she's right, I know it's a lie, I know that I have to go back home, I know I don't have a choice. No, cut it out, you do! That's the weird part. It's like, maybe you're just super caught up in the moment, but it feels as though the game is trying to tell me as a player that there's no choice in the matter and that I'm locked into that, when I know that as a player I'm not, or if I am, that that's a mistake. I should totally not be forced into that choice. So it's just weird, every time the main character has something like that, like, I know that I don't have a choice, it bugs me a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be resolved really quickly or something, but just in the immediate, wanted to share those thoughts. Is Zach gonna be up? Thankfully, Kara doesn't seem to be in my room with Zach anymore. He's fast asleep, and I'm grateful. I don't want to have to answer any questions. As I slip into bed, I feel the familiar squishy body press up against me.
Boy!
Hey. The Pongo blinks the sleep away from his eyes and yawns.
Boy!
I feel another wave of anguish begin to wash over me. This breakup is for real. It's really happening. I'll never get to hold Leanna close to me again, to kiss her. I let out a strange, choked sound and reach out and hug the Pongo to my chest.
Boy?
I let out a deep, shuddering breath. I'm okay. Breathe in, breathe out. I'm fine.
Boy!
The Pongo seems to sense something is wrong because he cuddles closer to me.
Boy!
I pat his head and nuzzle into my pillow. The Pongo eventually falls back to sleep, but I end up tossing and turning for a long time. I keep replaying the evening over and over in my head. Breakups aren't fun. It takes forever, but eventually all of my anxiety weighs down on me. I fall into a restless sleep. But I still do get happy, peaceful, sleepy time music at least. So at least there's that. But, yeah, not positive all around. The next morning, sunlight fills the room and wakes me. I groan, hoisting the blanket over my face. I feel awful. I barely got any sleep the night before. Everything that happened last night crashes down on me like a tidal wave. I groan, running a hand over my face. This is going to be a long day.
Boy,
The Pongo blinks at me. He cocks his head.
boy.
He gives me a little nudge with his face. Sorry, I'm fine. The Pongo's face settles into a worried expression.
Boy?
I sigh and sit up. The Pongo squeaks as he rolls down my chest and onto the bed. Sorry, little buddy. I pick him up and place him on my shoulder. I'm ready to go downstairs and meet the others. How about you? Did I just sleep in my armor or something? He frowns.
Boy.
He gives me a look, indicating that he's still not entirely convinced I'm entirely okay. I'll be fine. Let's go. Even so, it feels difficult to even get out of bed. Really, I didn't dress yet. Unless I mean, I guess actually, it didn't say that I undressed. I went and enjoyed the festival, and then I went home and just flopped into bed, I think. So, fair. I forced myself downstairs, but no one else is there yet. Suddenly, I hear a clatter of footsteps. My stomach swoops with anxiety and hope. Part of me hopes it's Leanna. The other half doesn't, because I'm not sure how to act around her. But I see a pair of black boots and then a flash of a brown ponytail. I let out a sigh of relief. It's just Zack and Kara. Oh, hey guys. Zack nods.
Hey.
I notice a few more scratches on his neck and collarbone again. Kara seems to be in her usual chipper mood. A bit too chipper. If Zack's wild hair and marks didn't indicate what happened yesterday, Kara's smirk sure does. A slow smile tugs at my mouth. Hey Zack, I never saw you again last night. Zack blinks.
What?
I really missed you. You never came home. Wait, I thought Zack was in bed.
Sorry, he was a bit tied up last night.
Ha, tied up, yeah. His face burns red. There's another trail of footsteps coming from behind me. My spine locks.
Greetings.
I turn around. Amy's there and Leanna is with her. I notice their arms are full of supplies. They must have gotten up early to go shopping. My heart cracks all over again. Just seeing Leanna and being around her, it hurts. Leanna's face burns with a blush.
Oh, hey.
Hey. I really don't know how to act around her. Leanna doesn't seem to know either. She twists her hands and avoids eye contact.
We got all of the supplies, so we don't have to linger here any longer. We can get going.
Yay! I nod. Okay, sounds good. I'm waiting for someone else to notice now. Someone else has got to notice. I'm thinking Kara. But, I don't know. I really don't want to be in this town anymore. Traveling might help take my mind off things.
Let's get going.
Kara and Zack blink. They share a look with each other, but don't push it.
Okay.
We make our way out of the inn. Soon, we find ourselves out of the town and onto a new path. I remain quiet as we travel, immersed in my own swirling thoughts. Leanna avoids my contact, giving me space. Maybe she's trying to be respectful of my feelings, or maybe she just can't stand to look at me. I don't know which thought is more comforting. They both leave me feeling empty. Yeah, that's fair. Dragging my feet, I lag behind the others, but I just can't seem to muster the energy to keep up. I keep replaying last night in my head. The evening was going perfectly, until... I sneak a glance at Leanna, who walks beside Amy. She stares straight ahead of her. Her walk looks stiff, like she's not comfortable in her own skin. Her hair sways with her hips, and I remember how soft it felt tickling my skin, almost as soft her touch. My heart tightens and I shake my head. I can't linger on these thoughts. But I can't ignore how much I want to be near her. Having to hold back is torture. These feelings don't disappear overnight. Is this as hard for her as it is for me? As night falls, we find a place to camp. We split up camp duties per usual, with Zack and Kara preparing dinner and Leanna and I searching for firewood. We search in silence. I feel like I should say something, but I don't know what. Sometimes I catch Leanna casting glances my way. She looks like she wants to tell me something, but doesn't. Dinner is quiet. We talk, but the conversation quickly trails off. I've barely touched my food, but I can't eat anymore. After cleanup, I slip away and take a seat alone. The stars shine brightly in the sky, but they just remind me of Leanna. Especially after the song. The grass rustles beside me.
Boy?
The Pongo looks up at me with wide eyes. Hey, Pongo.
Boy.
He beams at me. I return a smile, but it doesn't reassure him. His face falls.
Boy.
Sorry, little man, I'm just not in the mood.
Boy.
He deflates, then snuggles up to me.
Boy.
I smile weakly as another voice interrupts. Okay,
Hey.
good. Oh, good. I'm glad. I was thinking Kara would be and should be the first one to approach. I mean, now that Zach has noticed, and we see that in the inn, I do think he cares, but I don't think he's the best one to approach a subject like this. Kara sits down beside me. She gives the Pongo a short pat. Hey. She pauses, waiting. Then she gently nudges me.
Come on, spill it.
Spill what?
Something's got you down. What is it?
I can't remember what happiness feels like. That's so sad. I don't want to talk about it. I'm fine. But like the issue is, in those moments, the second one is kind of true. And especially with how, we've been seeing the protagonist's thoughts. We've been seeing main character's thoughts from his own perspective. And I know that like in this moment, he kind of does feel like that. So, I know it's melodramatic, but I honestly think it's the most accurate one so far. Like if I knew that I'm fine would lead to her pressing and me like being obvious that I'm not fine, maybe. But yeah. I also don't want to dismiss her as a thing, so I'm not gonna pick this one. So I'm gonna pick number 2. Kara, what does happiness feel like? It's been so long I can't remember.
Oh, that's not true. You know what being happy feels like.
She pulls me into a hug, resting my head against her chest. Okay, I'm starting to remember. With a little laugh, she lets me go.
It has something to do with Leanna, doesn't it?
What makes you say that?
You guys keep looking at each other and sighing. And you haven't done anything cute today.
I know!
Obviously something is up.
Yeah, it's true. Do I tell her? But she and Leanna are friends too.
Did you two have a fight?
Not exactly. Maybe I should just tell her, but I don't want to make things weird. Kara's brows knit.
You didn't break up, did you?
I remain quiet and her eyes widen.
You two broke up!
Yeah, it wasn't my fault! I tried! Reluctantly, I nod. She lets out a long sigh.
Oh no! But you two were so cute together.
I know!
What happened?
Not as cute as like me and Cowdy, but it just wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Of course it was! You two are perfect for each other. Are you sure you can't work it out?
I did what I could in the moment. It just doesn't make sense. Like Leanna said, I'm going to have to go home to my family and friends, and it's not like Leanna can come with me. She has her life here. Kara sighs deeply. She looks frustrated, but understanding.
You do have a point. But that still sucks.
Yeah, it does. She faces me, her expression soft.
Seriously though, I'm sorry you're going through this. I get that you want your space right now, and I'll give it to you. But if you ever do want to talk, I'm all ears.
Thanks. That is real sweet. She gives my shoulder a comforting squeeze before pushing herself to her feet. Without a word, she rejoins the group. I shift positions and feel the Pongo stir beside me. He blinks up at me again and cocks his head.
Boy.
Oh, did you hear all that too?
Boy.
Yeah. Yeah. As much as I hate it, in reality, like in real life, I kind of hate relationships because, like, I've been through not me personally, but just experience through my parents, through 2 divorces. No, more than that. Okay, let's see. Like, in 2 divorces of people I lived with. My parents, and then my mom and her first new husband, and then my dad and both of his wives. Okay, I've been through 4 divorces so far then with my parents. And I have been in 1 relationship that lasted a few months. And then I actually ended up breaking it off with her. For one thing, she was an exchange student, so actually kind of a lot like this. I knew she would have to go back eventually, but also I feel like at the beginning of the relationship, I was just excited to be in a relationship, and I think I more valued her as a friend than as a romantic partner, Like, I didn't have the same kinds of feelings for her as I know I had for other girls, and so I felt it was unfair to keep it going. And then I was technically in a relationship for like a weekend, and then she broke up with me over text, so that was dumb, because she was one of the girls that I had those big feelings for. And then just like, yeah, every time I get feelings for people, like it doesn't work out and they end up just dropping all contact with me. And I don't think I'm creepy or anything. I don't think but yeah, I don't like relationships. I am very cynical in that regard. Like, relationships like these can be really sweet, and you know, there can be a happy ending and stuff, but in reality, it's just so hard to think that I could ever actually be happy in a relationship like that. Like, I can hardly trust myself to like me. Like, how, if I can't take care of myself and love myself, how am I supposed to love other people genuinely? And you know, what if I have the same kind of thing with my, you know, that other relationship where I think that I really like them initially and then it turns out that it was just kind of a honeymoon phase sort of thing, you know? Like, yeah, stuff like that. So, it's almost tempting to put "Don't Make My Mistake," but all in all, in spite of all the bitterness and everything, you know, like, the experiences that I've had, I can look back on them fondly, and they are made really, really bitter by how things ended up, especially with one person, but like, all in all, I do think, in general, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Plankton. But don't let this scare you. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. He cocks his head to the side.
Boy, boy.
I don't know if anyone was interested in hearing me talk about that. Sorry if that, like, made you uncomfortable, but there you go. I look back out at the stars. Suddenly, the Pongo bounds away towards the camp. I must have scared him off. I sigh and lean back on my elbows. After a few minutes, the Pongo returns, a crystal in his mouth. Aw, that's cute! Thanks, but he cheered me up like how I cheered him up. He drops it in my lap, then nudges my hand, urging me to pick it up. Like, I was kind of wondering because, like, that whole Pongo scene seemed kind of random. And I'm like, oh, I guess they're just doing everyone with a relationship now, sort of thing. But I think it was all just set up for this. And while it was a little bit random at the moment, that wasn't like a bad scene. It didn't seem too out of place. And this was a cute moment here, so that setup, I think, paid off. Well done. What's this?
Boy.
I turn the crystal around in my hand. It's my old wind crystal I gave him when he was upset about that girl Pongo. Realization dawns on me. I gave him a crystal when he was upset over a girl, and now that I'm upset over a girl, he's given me the crystal back. The Pongo watches me expectantly. You the best, Pong. Yeah. I laugh and scoop the Pongo up into a hug. Thanks, buddy. You've definitely cheered me up.
Boy.
I gotta let him have that. That was a cute little thing from him. The Pongo beams and snuggles against me. As the evening wears on and the campfire dies down, Leanna gently approaches me. I look up at her as she stands awkwardly beside me.
Hey.
Hey. There's a pause as I wait for her to fill the silence.
How are you doing?
Her eyes are full of concern as she twists her hands nervously. I mean, okay, like, I don't want to do the top one. The second one is just plain mean. So, this is the most accurate. I shrug. I'm fine, I guess. She furrows her brows as a sadness returns to her eyes.
I'm sorry.
The words escape her. What's done is done. All we can do now is just try to move past it. So, what did you want to talk to me about?
Oh, it's just that it's getting late, and the rest of us are going to go to sleep. Maybe you should come back and get some rest, too.
I nod. Wonder if that was actually it. The Pongo sits on my shoulder as I push myself to my feet. Together, with Leanna, we return to the camp. I roll up my bedroll and lie down. I'm talking so much, without water. I feel the Pongo cuddle against me as I close my eyes. After a while, my thoughts quiet and I finally drift to sleep. Hopefully that'll mean fewer mistakes as I talk. Less slurring and stuff. Cue outro, go!